Was that your phone I just
Hi.
heard?
What was that?
No, I said, was that your phone I just heard?
Yeah. Anyway, hi and welcome to Live with Connie. Today my guest star is David with David Browning Bearded Yarn Dudes. And let's see, Granny D was here, but she goes
Well,
live at the same time.
yes, she does.
Yeah,
So I told her I would be here today, so I think that's why she popped by quickly.
but she says she loves us. Yeah,
Granny G loves everybody.
yeah. This isn't my normal live time. I had to push it back today. I had an appointment.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
normally on Mondays I go live at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Oh, okay.
And let's see, we have Lisa, Roberta, and Pastel Dreams. I believe your name is Annette. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how are y'all ladies doing today? And what are y'all currently working on? And I also want to welcome those that will be watching on replay, like Granny D, for instance. We love you, Granny D.
She did say she would try to catch us on replay.
But yeah, for those that are watching on replay, please leave a comment to let us know. And also feel free to answer any questions that we ask in today's live. And let's see. Lisa says she's doing good. Awesome, awesome. And she's knitting a baby beanie.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Yes. So, what have you been up to today, David?
I finished a scarf and I've been beating myself up all day because I don't have it written up yet as a pattern. And I also have not posted the photos on Instagram yet. I did update a pattern, a hat pattern that I have on my blog, and all of my hat patterns are free on my blog, which is called Bearded Yarn Dudes. It's on Blogspot. So I did an update for this very hat, which actually I was
Ooh,
wearing the other day because my hair was a fright. No,
nice.
so I updated that. Um, I've been working on some stuff and just beating myself up for things I haven't accomplished yet, which is one of my favorite hobbies, actually.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so her name wasn't Ed. Okay, I thought it was, but it was like I was like, I'm not. I started questioning myself, and Annette's working on snowflakes and Bloody Marys.
I'll
Nice.
have a Bloody Mary, please.
And Regina's here. Hi, Regina. How are you today? And what are you working on? And Lisa wants to know what we have on our hooks. Um, I have, of course, my temperature blanket. And I still have my peppermint blanket, which I have not gotten to work on at all this week. And when it comes to knitting, I have that pumpkin spice latte beanie that I'm working on designing.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I mentioned I finished a scarf today, and it's going to be a new pattern. Well, it's going to be, it's probably been in existence since the dawn of time, but it's going to be my iteration of that pattern. Um, I don't have pictures of it yet. And then I decided, well, no, I started the scarf as a gift, and and that's done. And I started a hat to go along with, or to be included in the same gift. And I got bored with that, so I'll finish it sooner or later. But then I started doing another sample of my Tunisian shawl, which has been on my Instagram and has been in the hands of testers, but it's one of the many patterns that I want to get posted on Ravelry before the end of the year. And I don't know why, but I just had this stash of ice yarn that said, "Make me, make me." Do you listen to your yarn to see what it tells you it wants to be?
No, I just get an idea in my head and I go with it.
Well, in many cases, that's the same thing. But, I had this yarn and I was thinking I should use this up. And then I had the idea of, well, I've long been thinking I should redo this one Tunisian shawl just to make sure that my own instructions are good in the pattern so that I can indeed publish it, and also so that I'll have more pictures. Because you can't sell anything without pictures. I used to be a real estate agent. You can't sell anything without pictures. Also, I used to be in the dating world. You can't sell anything without pictures.
You really do. I mean, everybody wants to see pictures now for pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry about all the background noise. That was Frank.
I
You may not have,
background.
it may not have come through.
I don't recall whether it did or not.
Yeah, I had to handle my his keys and wallet. He has a waiter delivery he's going on.
Well, apparently, if I noticed it, it didn't make a big impression.
And let's see. We have Brenda that joined us, Kathy, and Angela. How are y'all? And what are y'all working on?
Bear's Crochet Critter agrees with me wholeheartedly, except I don't know on what.
And Brenda's saying that she made it today. Yeah, I've been missing you, Brenda. Hope to be here for more than just a few minutes this time. I still need to catch up with all I've missed.
Which Brenda is that?
Bears Crochet Critters.
Okay, you know who I miss? Brenda the newbie crocheter. I know she's been sick, and when she hasn't been sick, she's been very busy with work. So, um, I do miss her.
Yeah, I've noticed lately there's a lot that kind of haven't been around. Like Julie, I know I'm going to say her last name wrong. Chaza,
Chaffee
Chazamaza.
Basa, she
Yeah.
has had a lot of problems with her
Hmm.
back. And we've talked a little bit about that. I mean, she's always been a good friend to me. Um, but I think that sitting upright long enough to do YouTube is difficult for her because of her back issues.
And
Um, Go ahead.
I can relate to that because there's times that my back will flare up. Like sometimes when I'm sitting at the computer too long, and lately I haven't had as much as much issues with it, but there are times that being at the computer, it will just like make my back hurt worse.
I think I've been fortunate that way, although I've been in situations when I was at the retreat center a couple of weeks ago. There was something about the sofas that were there in the living room where we all hung out and just, schmoozed and worked on our stuff. The sofas there, oh, they were awful on my back. Um, and I usually don't have that so bad as I did then. Marie is here, and I'm really glad to see Marie always.
Hi Marie, how are you today? And what are you working on? Yeah, and another one that's been missing too is Tracy Nicole.
Is that her YouTube name?
Tracy Nicole Fiber Arts. She
Don't believe I know her.
she had problems with like a fast heart rate, and she
Mm-hmm.
had to have surgery on it. And then
Mm.
she was getting to the point where I think she was about to come back, and then unfortunately her father passed away. So she's just kind of been going through a lot lately. So
Yeah, sometimes people have to take a break. I mean, I've um, I spoke about last year as my winter of discontent, because I have seasonal affective disorder, or like winter blues, if you will. And it was like the worst I've seen in many, many, many years. But people reached out to me, and it was really nice. They noticed I was not present. Um, so that's why I'm always saying that our Yarny community is just wonderful. I mean, even before I got involved in the community we have, I remember that I have been following a few channels, including Bag o' Day, um, and there was a period I mean, before I got active in the YouTube community, where I had been following her a lot, and then I was very sick for a while, and she said to me later that she, probably in a live chat or something, I don't remember, um, that she had noticed my absence and wondered where I'd gone, which I actually found very touching,
yeah,
especially for someone so big.
but it's true. We miss people whenever they're gone. 'Cause I mean, I miss
Yes.
Julie, I miss Tracy, and Bree is another one that hasn't been around
You know
like
who I
lately.
miss? Do you know Ezra? Pivy does it all.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have not seen Ezra in a long, long time, and now I feel bad because I was in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. Ezra lives in Charlotte, but I saw Granny D while I was there. She lives like an hour outside of Charlotte, and I was spending time with my friends who were there, college friends. Hey, coping with yarn. Sabrina, yay! We love Sabrina. I had the loveliest telephone conversation with Sabrina today.
Aw. Hey,
Um,
hey, Lisa and Sabrina.
um, but yeah, I miss Ezra. Um, but I know that Ezra has been um, going through a lot of changes lately. Um, so um, that affects how we look at life and how we think about things and everything. Marie mentions Tris
What was the channel name?
for
Marie.
Ezra. Oh,
No, for
Ezra,
Chris.
Marie, Tris.
Yeah.
Not
I don't
sure.
I don't recognize the name Tris, but maybe I'll recognize the channel name.
I'm not good with first names, honestly. I'm more likely to remember a channel name than a first name, but I've always been that way too. Um, but I have to put this aside. Um, Tunisian crochet requires attention. Warren Chavers.
Yes. He recently subscribed to me about a month ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know
Yeah.
you, Warren, but I'm glad to meet you.
Yeah. So how are you today, Warren? And what are you working on? And also Lisa and Sabrina, how are y'all and what are y'all working on? Lisa saying that my beanie sounds nice. Thank you. Yeah, I should get it finished this week, and then I'll probably start working on some Christmas hats, but these are going to be like, not my designs. I'm going to do some regular patterns off of Ravelry.
This is the scarf I completed today.
Ooh, pretty.
Isn't that yarn gorgeous?
Yes, I like the colors.
This yarn came from, oops, oof, I nearly knocked my beverage over. That would have been a disaster.
Not good.
No, this came, the yarn itself came from Carrie. We all know her as Carrie the Yarny Elephant. And she was destashing when she moved. So, of course, you got to help a girl out. So I sent her a little bit of money. Not enough, I fear, but she hasn't. But I feel like I owe her more for postage. And she sent me a whole bunch of stuff, including this yarn, which comes from Yarn Art. And I love the colors. And I think it will be perfect for the friend for whom I made that scarf as a gift. I'm also working on a hat with the same yarn, but I got bored with it, so I set it aside to start something new.
Hi, Samantha. How are you today? And what are you working on? And let's see. Brenda's talking about how me and David's both been creating so many patterns. Yeah. And speaking of, oh, go ahead, David.
Now, I was just going to say I have a bleep ton of patterns that I want to get onto Ravelry before the end of the year, because they're just waiting to be finished or edited or updated, or some of them just to be written up, and some of them for maybe final comments from testers, that sort of thing. But yeah, I have a bunch that I want to get onto Ravelry by the end of the year. I only offer them publicly on Ravelry, but sometimes people who don't want to do Ravelry directly will contact me and offer to pay me through PayPal. And I'm going, okay, it's money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll send them a PDF if they do that.
And technically, too, if someone purchases it directly from you, you're not having to pay the fees to Ravelry.
Exactly. If it doesn't go through Ravelry, then Ravelry doesn't know about it.
But speaking of patterns, though, I don't know if y'all saw the video I put out yet today, but I am doing a sale in my Ravelry store. It starts today and it ends the last day of December. I'm offering 20% off all my patterns, and you just need to use the coupon code December. So where it says code, put December, and you'll get 20% off. You were going to say something again, David?
I'm always going to say something.
Uh-oh.
No, I've been thinking about that. I've been talking about a birthday party that I'm going to have on Wednesday, December 8th, which is actually my birthday. I will be 39 plus shipping and handling. And that was a joke. You can laugh. But so between now and then, there will be a special deal for. I'll make it available to your viewers and to my supporters. it'll be a special deal on Ravelry. Plus, I'll probably do another separate Ravelry discount for the month of December. And then I will also be introducing new patterns all the way through December at unpredictable rates. Cough, choke, splutter, Marie says. I often inspire that reaction.
Poor David. Yeah, and also like Crystal, the Yorny chicken and crazy cat lady, has a really big sale on her patterns too right now. And I was laughing because it's like I had thought about doing it, and like next thing I know, I go to set it up in Ravelry, and then I notice her community post, and I'm like, great minds think alike, and like we never talked about it or nothing.
Mm.
We just both happened to think of it at about the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been trying different ways to encourage Ravelry sales. Because really, I mean, well, for one thing, you have to diversify, and for another, YouTube revenue comes and goes. Any kind of revenue comes and goes when you're doing this kind of thing. But someone, actually a much admired advisor in the world of textile marketing and entrepreneurship, suggested Facebook groups where you can make. It is suggested. Basically, it's about free Ravelry downloads. And if you make a certain number available as free downloads, then in theory, you'll get more sales based on either people who were not there in time to get the free download or people who like the other things that you have on Ravelry. Well, I did that. Those free downloads got snapped up in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. Have I gotten another sale on Ravelry based on that? Don't believe so.
You never know what when something's going to sell or not. You
Oh.
just don't know.
Warren, you're in Oklahoma, where the wind rides sweeping o'er the plain.
And Denine's here and Aris is here. Hi, how are y'all doing today?
Oh, we love Deneen. How many pocket shawls have you done now, Deneen?
She's the pocket shawl queen.
She sure is.
Oh, and just so everyone knows, I am going to be on David's channel this Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Which is 4 p.m. Eastern.
So you're going to get us together again.
Oh, dear Lord, what kind of mischief can we get up to? Nan says she has her 5th grandchild on his way. Wow.
Ooh, congratulations.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to do questions?
Okay, I guess we should get into some questions. So we're already at about 24 minutes. Okay.
Well, these things are always fun once you get going.
Yeah.
Except for when they're not.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you some really, really, really tough questions, David.
Oh, dear me. It's a good thing I'm drinking them.
Okay, so how long have you been crocheting?
Hands up, everybody who gets this question as number one question every time that you ask for questions. I feel like I should have a frequently asked question sheet. I don't mind. I mean, I'm glad that people are interested. Anyway, I learned to crochet, I think I was about 10 at my grandmother's elbow, but then I put it aside and then I picked it up, I would say almost 6 years ago, and then haven't put it down again.
Okay. My next question is, how did you learn to crochet?
Well, as I just said, at my grandmother's elbow. But then when I picked it up again, I started watching YouTube videos. Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, before, well, I learned a tremendous amount from him, but there got to be a point where there's a certain quality of his voice that indicates vocal fatigue and wear. And since I have a background in voice and vocal pedagogy and singing, that it sort of hurts me a little bit to hear, so I stopped watching him. But I've also learned a tremendous amount from Bagoday, Fiber Spider, so many other people.
I just removed my green screen. I've noticed when I go live this time of day, like before the sun starts to go down, it's like the lighting like really gets all wonky. And like my green screen was all like messed up. So like if it's gonna be that messed up, I might as well just show the actual green screen.
There you go. I mean, I have a bay window right beside me. It's dark outside already here in coastal North Carolina.
Yeah, because it's like the sun's real bright right now.
Mm.
Okay. So my next question is, let's see. What is your favorite thing to crochet?
Yes. Sometimes the answer is whatever I'm doing in the moment. Sometimes the answer is whatever I have been doing recently. There is no one thing. I mean, lately I've done an awful lot of shawls, um, because I like to do them, and people tell me they're nice. That doesn't mean that it will always be my favorite thing. At one point, my favorite thing was baby blankets. Who knows? Tomorrow, the answer might be different.
I still say go for shawls.
Actually, I've been thinking about producing a collection of shawls for publication, but I need better photographs. Anybody local know a good photographer?
Hey, I'm in Louisiana. I'm not local.
Oh, well, oh, honestly, actually, the only local person I know is, do you know Granny Square?
Yeah, Granny.
Andrea, yeah, she's my local yarn buddy. I cannot visit her without her giving me yarn. And so I have to always take yarn to her in exchange because I know what she's going to do.
Lisa, it's 4:30 p.m. here. We're Central Standard Time.
And in Eastern, it's 5:30.
Okay, my next question is favorite type of yarn.
What do you mean by type?
It could be like like number 4 or like the brand
The weight or the brand, or, I
or
mean,
like the
that,
type of colors you like.
well, there are lots of different ways to classify yarn. I used to be all about the budget yarns, and I used to be all about worsted weight yarns. Now, as far as the fibers, the sources, My tastes have become more expensive. My budget has not expanded to grow and accommodate this, but my tastes have become more expensive with much nicer yarns. But also, I would say I used to be a worsted boy. Now I'm leaning more towards DK, sometimes lighter than that even.
And what is your favorite size hook?
Yes,
I guess it depends on the project, huh?
exactly, exactly. A lot of the things that I do, I suggest a hook that is larger than is generally um, recommended for the yarn that I'm using because that produces a more drapey effect. It might not be as easy to work with in the beginning, but in the end, it all works out.
And what is your favorite stitch?
Yes,
I guess it depends on what you're working on, huh?
exactly. That's like that. That's like asking someone to choose a favorite child, or asking to choose a favorite flavor of Ben and Jerry's. How could you possibly do such a thing?
You know what I tell my cats?
What?
I tell Sophie she's my favorite calico cat, and I tell Allie she's my favorite gray and white cat. So they're both my favorite.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the dog we have, he's my favorite Cocker Spaniel. I mean, he's the only Cocker Spaniel I know, but he's still my favorite. Yeah.
And my last Yorny question for you is what made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
How long have you known me? It's for the attention. Hello? But it's also, I talk a lot to a very good friend who has been acting as an advisor, and she helps me to recognize that I have a voice. I have something to share. And, I'm still learning what that is. I don't know that it will always be the same thing, but it's a learning journey. I love I love the interaction. I love the YouTube community. I honestly, I really, really love the YouTube community.
Yeah, the YouTube community is awesome.
Um, but there is no one reason. I mean, it's so many different things, and it gives me an opportunity to be creative. I have learned a whole lot, not only about crochet, but about the whole YouTube thing, and about doing videos and doing video editing. I never thought. I lived for 14 years with an Apple employee, and I've used iMovie more now than ever. I don't think I ever used it once when I lived with him. But I he started working at the Apple Store, I think, the week that we met, and he was a trainer at the Apple Store. But I never learned iMovie through him. It's only in the past year that I've learned iMovie, and I can do stuff through video. And I hope that I can connect with people through video. I mean, 200 years from now, is it all going to matter? Who knows? 2 months from now, it will probably still matter. So, I'm I'm about being creative. I'm about, well, finding my voice. I'm almost 39 plus shipping and handling. And I'm still finding my voice. I'm still finding where my strengths lie. And there are strengths that I had in earlier lives that I can let go of and focus on these. Is that a good answer?
Sure. The face you're making, David.
Well, I'm good at faces.
And let's see. Lisa has to get back to work. No, Lisa, don't do it.
Work! Oh no, not work!
Hope you have a good day, Lisa. Okay. So, do you want to ask the first question on the list, David?
Okay, let me go back to the list.
The list is missing.
Okay, here we go. What was your first car? Are we going to talk about that?
Sure.
Do you know, honestly, I'm surprised that I'm getting excited about this. I saw today, I like to watch automotive videos. I saw today about a video about a 1976 Vega that was orange.
Ooh, orange.
My dad had a 1975 Vega that was orange. That had a 3-speed manual. In those days, 4 on the floor was racy. If I say 4 on the floor today, there are people who don't even understand what that means. But, so just watching that, and this particular 1976 Vega in today's age had 39 miles on it. It was like a museum piece.
Uh-oh, something's going on. David looks all serious.
What? No. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No. No, my sister happened by and I just wondered if she wanted to communicate something, but that was okay. Oh, Lisa had a Datsun back when they were called a Datsun.
Yeah, my first core was a 1987 Chevy Cavalier. It was light blue.
I'm
It
so
liked to break.
sorry.
I know it liked to break down. Like I was doing good if it went 3 months without breaking down on me.
I had a Buick Scarlet of the same generation, same chassis, same, basic family of GM cars. Um, what they would call, I think, the X platform of GM cars. It was an 80 something Buick Skylark. I had never ending problems with the automatic transmission on that car.
Yeah, and like with the Cavalier, I found like the same thing would keep going out on it, and but I used to always laugh that I said that my first core would be orange.
Was it?
No, it was light blue.
Um, Now, Lisa says she now drives a Toyota. I think that's a very wise decision.
David, can you excuse me for a minute? Can you kind of take over, read some comments, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes?
Oh, sure.
Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back, everybody.
Okay. Another opening, another show. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what's going on? Sabrina doesn't drive. But it's easier to be a non-driver in Europe than it is in the US. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Let me see what was the next one on the list. What movie never gets old, no matter how many times you've watched it? So, yeah, what movie just never gets old? Hey, Crazy Engine. Yes, Lisa. Toyota reliability is legendary. Ooh, Lisa, Misery. Ooh, I've never seen that. I'm afraid to watch it. Yeah. Oh gosh, when I win the lottery, I think about my dream house, my dream car, that sort of thing. But my dream car is gonna be a Toyota product, either a Toyota or a Lexus. Mm. The Sound of Music. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
back. Did y'all miss me?
I'm sorry, where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, um, Crazy Engine is talking about. I went on to the next question about movies that never get old. Crazy Engine mentions The Sound of Music. I spent a summer in Salzburg, Austria, when I was in school, and I was where we went to school was right next door to the place where they did some of the exteriors for Sound of Music, and right on this. Do you remember the lake um, in Sound of Music? It was right next to
Yeah.
that lake, and it was funny. It was just amazing. And we would go around and we would see all of these placards for Sound of Music tours, obviously intended for American tourists. And they would say, see this, see that, see that, all of these other sites. See the dome plots where Gretel drops the big tomato. Well,
Awesome.
guess what? Most of us had grown up watching Sound of Music on TV, where they abridged it for time concerns. So most of us had never ever seen Gretel drop the big tomato. So we didn't know a thing about the dome plots. We didn't know about the big tomato. We hardly knew about Gretel. But still, it was wonderful. Oh, God, that was like the best summer of my life. I
So,
loved Salzburg.
so Trish, how are you doing today, and what are you currently working on? Okay. So,
Ooh, a 95 Cavalier in purple.
see, we had a similar core, but mine was older and light blue.
I still remember that Vega. Actually, there were a few initial problems that got corrected under warranty, but after that, it it ran. It was rather reliable. Um, I drove it a lot in high school. I didn't drive it to college. I sort of wish I had, but still. Hey, Sharon.
Hey Sharon, how are you today? And what are you working on? Now, like right now, me and Frank have a Buick LaCrosse, and we've been
Nice
fortunate.
car.
The only thing that's going out on it is the battery.
Right
So,
now, I am driving a car that belonged to my mother. My mother died 2 years ago. This is a 2014 Hyundai Sonata. It still has fewer than 20,000 miles on it. It has never been anything but reliable. And it's pleasant to drive. The only thing I miss is I've never really had Apple CarPlay. I'd sure like to try it out. It does have a backup camera. I wish it had heated steering wheel, but it does have heated seats.
and listen, Deneen saying her first car was a 1979 Mazda GLC. It was a standard, and your feet got wet when you drove through puddles.
Oh, I remember those GLCs. The Vega that I mentioned, my dad got it. He had to replace a car quickly. So he went to the Chevy dealership. Our neighbor was a salesman at the Chevy dealership. He said, "Hey, give me the cheapest car you've got on the lot." And that's what we got. It didn't have a single option on it, not even air conditioning. It was 3 speeds. In those days, 4 on the floor was racy. And once those initial issues were cleared up, it ran, as far as I can recall, quite well. But I mean, there was no radio, no air conditioning or anything, which today would be just unthinkable. You had to
Sharon
actually crank your windows down. What a horrible inconvenience.
and Sharon saying town and country minivan. Okay, so let's move on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever passed out before? And I've had two, maybe three experiences with passing out. The first time, it was when you know how you have to get that booster shot when you're like 15, 16 years old. So I go get the shot, and like I was done getting it. My stepmom's talking to, I think, someone she knew, and all of a sudden I start feeling woozy. So I go to sit down, and then I start coming to, and they're coming at me with the smelling salts, and I don't know if y'all have experienced them. They are like the most horrible smelling thing that you'll ever experience. And I'm like, I had already come to, and I'm like, get it away. I'm fine. I'm fine. So that was
I,
my first experience. The second time was when I was in the Navy, and there was a change of command ceremony. And I think it was like in August, and they had us wearing our dress whites, which was long sleeve, and it was hot. And I remember, like, I would keep bending my knees because if you lock your knees, that tends to make you pass out. So next thing I know, I passed out, and they're like bringing me to the bath. But the nice thing was I got to sit down. I didn't have to stand anymore. But all I kept hearing was everyone saying, "You passed out. You had to have been locking your knees." And I was like, I wasn't. And the other time was when I was working at a doctor's office, and I started feeling like my heart was racing. I just wasn't quite feeling right. So I go to the nurse's station, and I'm like, "Can you check my blood pressure?" And while they were doing my blood pressure, um, I either almost passed out or I passed out for like, a little bit, but like my pulse was really low. It was like in the 30s. my blood pressure was low. And then like my boss was all like, go sit in the patient's room. So that's my experience. Do you have any, David?
Um, after, most people know that I had bariatric surgery just about 20 years ago, lost a bunch of weight, and then had some cosmetic surgery on my body after that because of the weight loss. Um, the only time I can remember really pretty much passing out was um, a follow-up exam. It probably was the first follow-up exam after, I think, the second surgery. The first one was like the abdominal thingy, and then the second one was thighs and arms. Um, and none of it looks right now, but that's just a different thing. But I think I was there. I was standing up, and he was like examining the wounds to make sure that all the wounds were healing correctly or doing something. I don't know what he was doing. I don't remember what he was doing. But suddenly I like really, really felt faint. He made me sit down. Really quickly. He said, "Sit down." And then and then he said he took me out to the waiting room. I had I was living in the suburbs of New York. I had taken a car service to get into the city. This was in Manhattan for this medical appointment. So I knew that there would be someone waiting for me to take me back home. Didn't really realize it would be the same guy, but looking at it now, it just makes sense. But he had been waiting for me. So anyway, he took me out into the waiting room, and he was going like, "Please sit in this chair," and I'm going, "No, I should sit here. I've already bled in this chair." So, um, for some of the wounds, they sort of seep. But yeah, that was the worst passing out experience. Now, if you're going to talk about blackouts, that's a different subject altogether. But that is the only time I can remember passing out. I don't recommend it.
No. Let's see. Isla's here. Hi, Isla. How are you today? And what are you working on? Okay, Lisa says no. Regina says no. They've never passed out. Trish says yes, some self-induced, some not, laughing out loud.
Mm.
And Sharon says, I think I passed out for a moment during my first C-section. And that's the thing because sometimes when you pass out, it's like you kind of don't even really realize that you did.
That's true. Well, same with blacking out, especially blacking out. And people will tell you things, and you're going, wait, what? Did that actually happen?
Because that time in the Navy when I passed out, I mean, I'm presuming I must have fallen backwards, but evidently someone must have caught me or something. I don't know.
There was a time when I was in school and I was in a group that was like doing some sort of a holiday, Memorial Day, or some kind of a presentation where we were going to sing. And so I don't know whether we had sung something already, but we were all standing there at this monument and standing and standing and standing. And it was a hot and sunny day. And we were standing and standing and standing. And when the sheet music in my hand started changing colors, I thought it might be a good idea to sit down. So I did. And the next thing I knew, there was an EMT worker beside me saying, "Do you need help? Do you need help?" And I'm going, "I'm okay. You know, just let me do this, and then we'll." And then I was able to stand up and do whatever else I needed to do. I don't even remember what we sang or anything. But it was and I don't know. We've got some people. We've got some Indiana people in our community. This was in. I was at Indiana University at the time. I was singing at this what they call Christ Church Cathedral or the Little Church on the Circle. There's this monument circle um, in Indianapolis. Maybe it was Memorial Day, but so it was the choir of boys and men from the this cathedral. And for those who don't know it yet, and I don't know how you don't, I'm passionate about Anglican um, church music, but it's I don't remember whether I'm sure that I stood up. We did whatever other piece that we were going to sing, and then everything was fine. But I just remember that EMT. I remember that it seemed like the music I had in my hand was changing color, and I decided to sit down. And then I remember this EMT worker going or asking me whether I needed help. And I'm going, "Oh, no, I'm fine." And then I made it through it, I guess. There haven't been any lawsuits, at least.
And Isla saying she was in a coma in 2019. Wow. And she says, yeah,
Well,
though at the time my family was told I would have to learn to walk and talk again, I popped back out with no issues. She only has lapses in memory. That's good though that you didn't really have any issues.
I've had that experience too, where actually more than once, where I was
But
hospitalized with, let us call it, altered mentality because of chemical imbalances. Um, some of it related to the bariatric surgery and malnutrition and stuff. Um, and the dreams I had, I will tell you, are the stuff of TV. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers the ABC Tuesday movie of the week. It's exactly that nature. The dreams that I was having sometimes. Um, anyway, moving right along.
yeah, we're fixing to be wrapping up. We're almost at the hour mark. But I see Joanne joined us. Hi, Joanne, darling. How are
Hey,
you
Joanne.
today? And and like I
Yeah.
said, we are fixing to wrap up. But I'm glad you popped in.
I'm sorry if I sort of monopolize things and talk too
Uh,
much about myself, but
that's fine, David. Yeah. Normally I do go an hour and a half usually, but I'm running low on StreamYard hours. And in order to, have enough time for all my lives until I reset my hours, I got to cut them down to an hour.
yeah. Well, we talked earlier before we went live about how you might
Yeah,
maximize them. I hope that works out for you.
I'm going to look into that. Because if I go extra, I got to do it from Restream, and I'm not as comfortable with Restream. But anyway, is there anything you'd like to say, David, before we say goodbye?
About myself or about life in general?
Just kind of anything.
Well, of course, I'm gonna plug myself. Bearded Yarn Dudes everywhere you can look, and also on Ravelry, it's David Browning Designs. But as far as life goes, think for yourself. There you go. And keep coming back. That's what I always say. Keep coming back. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and keep coming back.
Yes. And I want to thank you for coming live with me, David. And I see Lisa the Grammy just joined in. Hi Lisa, we're fixing to wrap up, but I'm glad you popped by. But yeah, like I was saying earlier in the live, my patterns are on sale through the last day of December. 20% off all my patterns. Just use the coupon code December. And this Friday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be going live on David's channel. So y'all gonna get a double dose of us this week.
Uh-oh.
And I want to thank David for coming live with me. I may have said that
It's been
already.
tremendous fun, even though my table keeps wobbling.
I may have already said that, but if I did, I'm telling you again. Oh, hi, Barbara. I'm wrapping up, but I'm glad you popped by. But anyway, there's that, and I lost my train of thought. But I think I covered everything.
Oh, please. I had a thought once, but it died of loneliness.
But anyway, I hope everyone has a fabulous Yorny evening, and be the light. And bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.